Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over push day 2 in our push-pull legs hypertrophy workout, and we are starting it off with our first compound movement. That is going to be the bench press, but we are specifically going to be using a Rogue Seal Row bar. You may have known if you watched my last video, I actually just got this bar, and the reason why we're using it is it's going to allow us to use a greater range of motion, which is going to allow us to put more stretch on the pecs, which is ultimately going to lead to more muscle growth. You're definitely going to have to go lighter on this movement, especially just because of that extra range of motion. I'm pretty sure I only did 110 pounds here for like 11, so that is way lighter than what I normally would, but the benefit is you're getting a lot more stretch, and it's a lot safer because you're going to be using that lighter weight, and we're obviously pushing this very close to fail. You can see me struggling on that last rep, but it is very effective, and then I'm just going to control the negative. So if you don't have a seal row bar like this or a bar with an indent like that, you can of course just do the regular bench press. But after that, so we're going to do 3 sets of that. But now after that, then we're going to move on to the next compound pressing movement. That is going to be a seated shoulder press machine. Now I actually don't have the seated shoulder press machine at home, so I'm using the lever arms. It's basically the same thing. Provides the same amount of range of motion. I would honestly I know in my first push workout I used dumbbells, but I would honestly recommend you just permanently use machines. I feel like they're just a lot safer to the dumbbells. You can push them just as hard, and you can honestly, they feel a lot better to me. And I'm doing moderate reps here. Same with the seal or the bench press with the seal row bar. So moderate reps, pushing all sets really hard, except the 2 warm-up sets we did at the start. But yeah, moderate reps around, I would say, except in the last set, I went pretty heavy, but I'm pretty sure I also did a drop set there. And of course, I'm going to also be doing some partials. And then right after that, we are going to move on to our first tricep isolation type exercise. That is going to be the cable tricep overhead extension. And I would also recommend you guys use an easy bar when you're doing this movement. I know for me anyway, with the straight bar, it really hurts my wrists. You may also, if you watched my last video, you may know that I just recently got this bar, and I wanted this bar specifically for this exercise. So it really feels good on my wrists now, and this exercise is going to put the long head of the tricep, which is the biggest head, under a great degree of stretch. So that is exactly why our first tricep exercise is this. In our last push workout, we did barbell skull crushers. Personally, I think the cable machine, again, is a little bit better as it provides a more smooth resistance path, but of course, pick the one you like. You can alternate between them. That's kind of what I do. And then I like to do these partials at the end before re-racking the weight. And now we're going to move on to a chest isolated exercise. And because we did flat press, I always like to include some kind of incline work, so we are going to be doing the incline cable flies. Now, I know a lot of people, when they do this movement, they start feeling it in their biceps and front delts, so something I could recommend to help you feel it in your chest a little more is to not be so strict with raising your arms like straight up. Like as you can see, I'm still raising them upward on a slight angle, and that really helps me feel my chest a lot more. Moderate reps zone, again, I think around 8 to 15 is probably the sweet spot. You're going to have to go a lot lighter on this movement. It is a lot harder than standard seated cable flies, but definitely a great exercise I would recommend for those upper pecs, and it's really gonna get you in that stretch position, as you can see when I'm going all the way back and then I come all the way up and really contract there. So again, pushing the set super, super hard. You can see, and then I'm pretty sure this is my last actual rep, and then I end up doing some partials right at the end there just to burn out the chest even more. If you're not advanced, you don't have to do those partials, but I like it. And then we are going to move on to our second shoulder exercise, probably the most important shoulder exercise that we're going to be doing, and that because it is for our side delts, and that's going to be dumbbell lateral raises. So in our first push workout, we did it with the cable machine, and I do think the cable machine is probably better as it provides more tension in the stretch position, but I just like to use dumbbells for variety, and I also like to do these seated just so I can't really cheat. But you'll see at the end when I hit failure, I like to do them standing and use a little bit of momentum just to get the weight going, because I feel like the shoulders are a muscle that can handle a shit ton of volume, so I feel like it's good just to burn them out. And I feel like if you use perfect form all the time and you don't allow any sort of cheating, you're not really pushing the muscle as hard as you possibly could. So even there, when I can't get a full rep, I'm still doing some partial reps, as you can see there, just absolutely burning out the shoulders. And then I, of course, go standing and I kind of swing a little bit. You can see there, I'm swinging to try and get the weight up. I like to start my lateral raises in the higher rep range, and then as you can see in my last set, I do kind of go really heavy, but I also do a drop set with that, and I keep dropping the weight down and down until I get to 10 pounds again. And I also superset that with the cable tricep press down. I know I did this in my last push workout, but honestly, this is my favorite tricep exercise by far. It is going to target more of our medial and lateral heads of the triceps, so not as much of the long head, but it's just such a staple for me, and I think it's such a great exercise that I do include it, and I alternate between doing that and the dumbbell lateral raise. I do moderate reps here again. I do most of my sets, I would say, around the 8 to 15 rep range. Every now and again, I will dip a little bit below, do a little bit of strength work. But I'd say for the most part, that's the rep range I'm doing. And I also, you'll see when I'm doing this, I'm leaning forward a little bit. That allows you to do lift a little bit more weight than if you're standing upright, and that's absolutely okay. It's better, honestly, to lean forward when you're doing that exercise. And then after that, I just like to do one set of decline push-ups. I do a lot of rest, but I just do one set to absolute failure just to burn out the chest, triceps, and the shoulders. I think it's just a great finisher. If you guys, most of you probably don't know, but before I started lifting weights, I actually only did calisthenics, so I think it's good just to incorporate a little bit of that just so I can keep some of my body weight, like calisthenic skills. Personally, I prefer lifting weights, and I do think if you have access to a gym, if your goal is bodybuilding like mine, I do think that lifting weights are a much superior way of lifting, just because you can progressive overload much easier. But I do think it is also good to incorporate some sort of calisthenic work in your program. And of course, after my workouts, I always like to round it off with some cardio. So doing around 200 calories for about 30 minutes. I actually went a little bit harder this time. As you can see, I did it for 28 minutes. And then here is the full workout on screen if you guys want to copy it. So that is going to be our second hypertrophy focused push day. We got a pull and a leg day coming up, so stay tuned for that, and that will complete the series once we do those two videos. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.